Yo, it's your boy Mr. Box Office from Mr. Box Office TV, back with another video. And in this video, I want to speak about the best player right now in midfield, Dejan Kulusevski. And yes, I did say it, the best player in Europe. You have to think about that, didn't you? Well, compared to what you're seeing right now, yes, he was on the right and now coming to the centre. And now he's turned into this player that is now the missing piece to Tottenham Hotspur, closing that gap to Man City, supposedly. Well, let's just break it down for everybody right now, because at the moment, that's not my opinion. That's the opinion of lots of people now, Spurs fans, saying that he's the missing piece. He's the game changer. When I'm looking at it and sitting there thinking, he's good. Nothing great. Nothing fantastic. No. I've watched this guy for so long now. He was off form last season. He was playing sometimes in the centre midfield and he was actually impressive in that centre midfield. But the thing is, the problem is with Kulusevski, he works very, very hard. And he does work very hard in that midfield. He does work very hard. He traps back. He presses very hard as well. But there's something that is just not there with me, with him, and that's it. But when you look at the stats, and this is why he's looked as the best player in Europe right now, Kulusevski has got the most key passes in Europe. For first, he's the first for the most key passes in Europe. He's got the most progressive runs in Europe, the first. The most accelerations in Europe, he's the first. Most deep completions in Europe, the first one. Most dribbles per 90, the first. And the most offensive duels per 90, the first. So based on those stats, he is one of the best players in Europe. Now, for me, I'm sitting there looking at this and thinking, this is absolutely ridiculous. Because when you watch him, when you're at the stadium watching him, I don't sit there and think, best player in Europe here. He's gonna rip it up. Oh, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain. Oh, you know what? He's a perfect player for you. He'll fit him so nicely, and that's it. Other than when I was looking at Kudus and Bowen and Paqueta, I'm looking at those three players and I'm sitting there saying, no, that's a bit of me. That's a bit of me. When I see them running, I see purpose. I see something better than what I'm seeing with Kulusevski. Kudus, he's got a little bit of skill. He drops the shoulder. Yeah, you see it with Kulusevski, but Kulusevski runs down blind alleys most times, and that's it. But he's the game changer, and that's it. Another player I need to speak about that got a lot of criticism after the game because he got taken off at half-time, Maddison. So he gets criticism, Maddison, when he's mainly the main player for us. Let's be honest here, because he's the best, our best creator. But Kulusevski gets all the praise, and that's it. This is something I don't really understand with Tottenham, with the football right now. And this is where I think football's gone downhill, boring-wise, because a player like Kulusevski, when you match him up, because you don't... The thing is, though, when you match him up with the stats, he looks good. But when you actually watch him and look at it in context, I don't think of him as a game changer. And one thing I need to ask Tottenham fans is, what is his actual position? What is he actually, what type of player is he? Because I don't know what sort of type of player is he. When I look at Kudus, I know what type of player is he. He's a winger. When I look at Paqueta, I know what type of player he is. He's a deep line midfielder or a creator. When I look at Bowen, I know exactly what type of midfielder he is. Back in the day, Dembele, I knew exactly what sort of midfielder he was. I knew what Wanyama was. I knew what Foyt was back in the day. I knew what Sherwood was. I knew what Carrick was. I don't know what type of player Kulusevski is, because he's running everywhere he's running, and that's it. He's running down blind alleys sometimes. Yes, he makes some key passes and stuff, but again, if I don't know what sort of type of player he is, how can I say that he's the best player in Europe? You're only looking at the specifics of his stats, and that's it. But this is where we're going, and that's it. Because I don't see this world-class player, this player that is going to change the game for Tottenham Hotspur. I think the player that we're not using to the best of his abilities right now is Maddison, James Maddison. When he's got midfielders around him just doing what they're doing, and he's not able to be that number 10, and that's it, because you know exactly what type of player we've got in James Maddison, and that's it. Same argument you can say for Bentancur and Basuma. What type of midfielders have we got? Same question for those midfielders, and this is where I look at the manager, Ange Postecoglou. What is he doing coaching this? Because at the end of the day, they're fitting him into a system, but how is this benefiting Tottenham Hotspur? Yes, it looks good right now against the bottom teams. But as you see in the top, when we play the top teams, we struggle because they don't know specifically what their role is in the team, and that's it. And that's where it goes wrong, and that's it. And this is where I have the issue at the moment. Yeah, he looked good against West Ham. He was all over the place. He worked hard. But I wouldn't call that someone that is going to revolutionise Tottenham Hotspur. Yes, if you want to look at the positive side of things, that partnership with Maddison did look good against Everton and Manchester United. It was helping Maddison become that number 10 going into the box. But as you saw against West Ham, he was again coming deep a lot of the time to try and serve a lot of the players, and he was getting very frustrated, and that was it. And then he was taken out the game, looked as the weak link of the team. Yes, Sarr came on and did very well and did what Ange Postecoglou wanted, and then we won the game, and that was good. That was something that you got to credit to Postecoglou. But for me, there's no angle for me to say that this midfield of Kulusevski is the main midfielder when I don't even know what is as a midfielder. People say that he's like Postecoglou's found something in his game to get him back into the middle. But firstly, Kulusevski's already said that it's his best position in the centre midfield. And I've looked back at when he was at Parma, he's doing the same things that he was doing at Parma. Just the only thing is, though, he's roaming around more often around, going left to right, and he's in the centre. He's doing lots of things in the team right now because he's given more of a free role. And that's maybe a detriment to the other players like Maddison or Basuma or Bentancur. But in some way, I still feel that we are not... It's quite over the top the way that we are describing this player as the best player in Europe. When, for me, Kulusevski is another one of Johnson. If we've got anything about us, we would be letting him go and getting somebody better to compete with him, because I think he'll be down the pecking order and that's it. I think it'll be the same in a big club like a Man City, a Real Madrid, a Barcelona, a Bayern Munich, a Chelsea, an Arsenal. I don't think they will fit in. I don't think he'll fit in at all. And that's it. Because when I looked at Kudus, I sit there and think, yeah, he ain't going to be at West Ham that long. He'll fit in a top team all day long. When I look at Bowen, I'm thinking, Bowen, yeah, you're too good for West Ham. He's got that skill. He's got something. He's got that directness. He's effective. When I look at Kulusevski, he works hard, does a little shimmy sometimes, but he ends up nowhere. And that's it. And yeah, he worked hard for his goal. He deserved his goal. But that was because of West Ham being absolutely terrible in defence. If West Ham had anything about them in defence, who would have thought Tottenham Hotspur would have got through at all? Because we were going down blind alleys before we scored the goal, and that was it against West Ham. And where was Kulusevski against Newcastle? Where was Kulusevski against Leicester City? And where was Kulusevski against Arsenal? And where has he been the last how many years? So what I'm saying is to Tottenham fans, and what I'm saying to the Rider Universe rivals, the only way we're going to find out whether this is actually true form, or really is this is the best player in Europe, is end of next season. Because at the end of the day, form is temporary, class is permanent. And I think people completely forget, because when people say to me, oh, you won, Alex, Mr. Box Office, you won against West Ham. Do you think I'm going to change? You really are joking yourself if you think I'm going to change. And I'm definitely not changing on Kulusevski, who's been bang average the last couple of months. Like I said before, had 6 months. Like I said, coming from being a reject from Juventus. And then we only just found out that he's actually good in the middle, which he's been telling us how long he's been good in the middle. Because when you look back at Parma, he was good in the middle there. And that was it. And we didn't put him in the middle. And we only just found out now he's good in the middle, but that's the only thing he's good at the moment. But I don't know what sort of player he is. What is he? What is he as a player? I do not know. And this is why we need to see a long-term view on him to see whether in the amount of games, maybe till the end of the season to see, or then the end of next season, and see whether this is permanent and that's it, or if he gets better. And that's the point, because good players get better and better and better. And the record of Kulusevski right now, he's not consistent because he doesn't get better. He's only got one. He's one-dimensional, and that's it. And that's the problem I have with him at the moment. We don't know what this form's going to end up being. This is the argument we have with people like Brendan Johnson, and that's it. But this is the problem. We go over the top about midfielders. We go over the top about our players. And we don't look at the context of it, and that's it. And that's why I don't rate him. And people can say whatever they want. They can say the stats, and that's it. But on the eye, it was always what I'm going to do, and that's it. Because as far as I'm concerned, I've seen footballers, and I know what a good footballer is, and that's it. And for me, he's just a good footballer. Not a great footballer, not the best footballer in Europe right now. Please. I've never heard such absolute nonsense in my whole entire life, and that's it for me. And also, people completely forget about Kulusevski. We got him on loan initially. A year or 2 year on loan, I think it was. And then after that loan spell, no big team went in for him. Even though he had an impressive start, but afterwards didn't do anything afterwards. And since then, after the loan spell, no one gone over to buy him. No one was interested. There was no bids. It was only Tottenham Hotspur that taken the option. And that was it. And that was down at Ange Postecoglou again. So I think what we're doing at the moment, we're trying to because we've got a player that hasn't got any competition for his place. Because look at the squad that we've got, and I don't think we've got great competition. Because look at the players that we've got in terms of Basuma. I don't know what Basuma is. He's playing more attacking than actually being more defensive. But Bentancur's been not impressive for me. You know that already. Maddison's up and down because of the way everyone's playing in his space, and he's not able to be this number 10. You've got Sarr that works hard. That's all he is. He's got energy, works hard. Then you've got Burval and Archie Gray who are doing their apprenticeships, who shouldn't be in the team, should be on loan. So when you look at it from afar, how can you determine whether he's our best midfielder when he's got no competition to actually make him better? And this is where I put the argument out. How is this going to close the gap to Man City? Because I don't think it's Kulusevski who's going to be doing it. I think a midfielder's better. Because when you look at top teams like your Man Cities and Liverpools, they've got competition for places. So you're not sitting there thinking, well, you're comfortable in your position. No, if you're not playing well, you've got somebody behind you that's going to think that I'm going to take your place. And I don't see that with Kulusevski. And that's it. Competition makes it better, and that's it. So how can you determine this guy is the best player in Europe just back on the off the back of just stats? Again, this is what makes football really boring. Makes it really boring and just not. You don't. People are afraid to actually having a real opinion because they need something to back it up. But then they don't really take the opinion, actually watch the player, and that's it. And that's what I do. And you can say whatever you want about Mr. Box Office, the main event, the Professor of Truth and Entertainment. You can say whatever you want about him. But I can stick to my opinion and that's it. And I'm sorry, this guy is stealing a living at Tottenham Hotspur right now. And he's overhyped. The stats are overhyped him so much. And at the end of the day, in the next couple of years, I don't think he'll be at Tottenham Hotspur if we get anything good about us that want to be challenging Man City or the Arsenals or the Liverpools. And that's it. Because this guy ain't going nowhere near the top elite teams, and that's it. He might be captain of Sweden, but he ain't going nowhere for Tottenham, and that's it. That's all I need to say. And I'll leave it like this. I'll leave it like this with you Tottenham fans and everyone in the wider universe. If he's that great, why are we giving stick to Maddison? Because for me, Maddison has got more to his game than Kulusevski's got any day of the week, and that's it. And why was I more impressed with Kudos in the game, even though he got sent off, than Kulusevski? And ask that question, and that's it. That's all I'll say today. I'd like to hear your opinions to see if you agree with me or disagree on Kulusevski. Because I think this is a player that is, there's not an anomaly of everyone thinking this player is a world-class player or is a good player or a great player. There's people that don't like him, like me. I'm not there with him. I don't understand it. But there's people that absolutely love him and think he's absolutely fantastic and he's going to be the future for Tottenham Hotspur, and that's it. So, I'd like to see you in the comments and to keep subscribing. And as always, if you didn't know, get to know. So support your boys, Mr. Box Office. Subscribe and like. And come on, you Spurs. And I'm out.